Hello, grade 12 learners. Welcome to another exciting session of mathematical literacy. My name is Nikki Zulu, and I'm not alone this afternoon. I'm with my co-presenter, Mem Metalatia. Please take note that this lesson is proudly brought to you by the Gauteng Department of Education in collaboration with Saibono Discovery Center. Our focus for today will be the topic of finance. We are revising, as we all know now that we are heading towards the prelims. So the focus on today's topic will be on the section of banking, loans, and investment. Now, guys, by the end of this lesson, we should be able to understand the terminology that is used in banking, loans, and investment, and choose the best plan when buying a car or even taking a personal loan. The pre-knowledge that you bring into this lesson, the first one, it is your knowledge of working with financial documents, because as we're working with personal, car, home loans, we will also be deliberating on those financial documents. Your knowledge of calculating simple and compound interest will come in very handy in this section. And lastly, working with banking tariffs, exactly as you did them in term 1. When you're calculating tariffs, you will see you're going to apply the same skill in this section as well. Just a quick baseline assessment to assess how much you know as far as this content is concerned. Number 1, Thabo takes a loan of 50,000 rands from the bank. That is the information that we are given. Explain in your own words what this means. What does this mean? I hope you are discussing this with your classmates and your teacher. This means that Thabo borrowed 50,000 from the bank and he will pay it back with added interest. Should I write it down for you? It means that Thabo borrowed 50,000 rand. He will pay it back with interest. That is the meaning of a loan. With added interest. Lerato invests 10,000 rands in a fixed deposit account for 2 years. Why is this called an investment and not a loan? From the previous question, we've already established that when you talk about a loan, is when you are borrowed money and you will pay it back with added interest. So Lerato is not borrowing anybody's money. She has her own money. So when she puts it in a fixed deposit account, it means she puts it away for some time. When she gets it back, she is going to get this money back after 2 years with added interest. That is why we say this is an investment. So we will say that she put away the 10,000 rand, will get it back after 2 years. After 2 years with added interest. I hope this makes sense. And then she'll get it back after 2 years with added interest. That is why it is an investment. It is not a loan. The third question, a bank advertises a car loan where the buyer pays 3,000 rand per month for 59 months and then makes a balloon payment of 50,000 rands. Explain what the term balloon payment means in this context. So this person bought a car and obviously they couldn't afford the original installment. So the bank said, okay, it's fine. You can take a lesser installment, but then you will have a balloon payment of 50,000 rand. What is a balloon payment? This is a lump sum that you pay at the end of the loan period. In this case, this person is going to pay a lump sum of 50,000 rand. You pay this at the end of the loan period. It means after 59 months. In month number 60, then this person is going to pay 50,000 rand. So let me write it down. A lump sum of 50,000 rands that will be paid at the end of the loan period. At the end of the loan period. I hope this is clear. Why do you think some people prefer this kind of loan? I'm so sorry I wrote on top of that. Why do you think some people prefer this kind of a loan? So people prefer this kind of a loan simply because they cannot afford higher installments. This is to give them that relief throughout the 59 months to pay an affordable amount of 3,000 rands. So that is the only reason why people choose this option, is because of affordability. Now let's go into our terminologies. We've been talking about balloon payment, investments. Let's break it down. What exactly do those words mean? When you talk about a loan, that is the amount of money that is given to someone for a period of time with a promise that it will be paid back with interest. When you borrow your friend 20 rands and they will pay it back as 30 rands, it means you gave them a loan because they are paying it back with an added interest. When you talk about investment, this is a process whereby you put away money for some time, and when you get it back, you get it back with added interest. In that case, we're saying that you were investing. So the examiner can ask you to differentiate between a loan and an investment. So you must know the difference between the two. That with a loan, it's when someone gives you money, they borrow you money, you pay it back with added interest. Not only someone, it can even be a bank. Whereas an investment is when you have your own money, but you put it away so that it can earn you interest. A balloon payment, this is the final lump sum payment that is due at the end of the loan period. The loan period can be for 3 years, can be for 4 years, 5 years, 6 years, or 7 years. That lump sum that you pay at the end of the period is called a balloon payment. And then a home loan. This is the money that one borrows from the bank, and it is strictly for buying a house. Cannot be used for anything else. That is a loan for buying a house. And obviously, because it's a loan, when you pay it back, it means you pay it back with added interest. And with the home loan, the period of home loan is a very long-term loan. It can even be for 20 years, it can be for 25 years, it can be for 30 years. When you talk about the monthly installment, that is the money that is paid monthly towards the loan amount. It can be towards the home loan, can be towards a personal loan, a car loan, but that money that you pay on a monthly basis, we refer to it as a monthly installment. A debit order. When you talk about a debit order, this is an agreement allowing a service provider to withdraw an amount of money from a customer's bank account monthly. Let us say I bought a cell phone, an iPhone, and I bought it on credit. If I buy it on credit, I agree, there's an agreement between me and the store that I will pay them every month. So for them to get their money, I'm not going to go to queue at their shops every month to make a payment. It means I, as a person that is taking the debt, I must make arrangements with my bank that on the 31st of every month, this shop will be deducting 300 rands from my account because I'm paying it towards a cell phone. So that 300 rand, that process of the shop deducting 300 rands, we call it a debit order. That is what we mean by a debit order. A debit order, it takes place in your bank account. A withdrawal, this is when the money is taken out of a customer's account. To withdraw means to take out. A deposit, it means money that goes into the account. To deposit is to put in. And then we have EFT, which is electronic funds transfer. This is the transfer of money from one account to another account using a computer in the olden days. Now you are able to perform an EFT even on your cell phone, transferring money from one account to another account, or even making a payment. You are able to use EFT. When you are buying from a grocery shop, you don't have cash. When you pay using your card, that is also an EFT process. So EFT is actually the cashless transaction. Whenever you perform a transaction without any money being involved, the cash being involved, then that is an EFT. Now, when it comes to banking, the section of banking, what you need to know, the most important thing, it is the different accounts that are involved in banking, the different banking accounts, which are your savings account, your check, your fixed deposit, and your credit card account. Most of you next year, you will be working, but even if you're not working, you will be having bank accounts if you don't have already. So you must know which account will be suitable for your needs. The first one is a savings account. With a savings account, the properties of a savings account is that you deposit money into the bank because you are having a savings account, so there must be money in that account. So your money is kept safe there and it earns some interest. It's not a lot of interest, but it is something. And then we've got a check. Another word for check is current. So check and current account, same WhatsApp group. With a check account, this is an everyday account for spending, and it's mostly used by people that are earning a monthly or a regular income because they use the car account regularly. And with this type of an account, you can swipe your card, withdraw cash, and pay your bills. And lastly, it does earn some interest, but very, very little. And sometimes it doesn't even earn any interest. With a fixed deposit account, this one, the word fixed, remember fixed, it means it's unchanging, it stays the same. It means in this case, this is where you save money, this is where you invest your money stays there untouched. So your investment period will depend on your agreement with the bank. It can be for 3 months, it can be 6 months, it can be 1 year, 3 years, 5 years, 10 years. It depends on your agreement. Another interesting factor is that the longer you invest, the more interest you will earn. So here you cannot use the money immediately. If you need that money, you need to put in a notice with the bank. You must inform the bank that on this particular day, I will be needing this amount of money. So with this kind of account, you cannot have an emergency and say, I need the money now. No, you must first put in a notice with the bank. And then it earns a higher interest rate than the savings account. Why? It earns higher interest rate because the money is kept there for longer periods. Remember, you cannot access your money. Hence, it earns more interest as compared to the savings account. The savings account, you are able to access your money anytime. And the last one, it is a credit card account. What you need to know with the credit card is that the money that is in there, it is not your money. The money belongs to the bank. However, you are allowed to use that money. Depending on the limit that the bank has set up for you, you are allowed to use the money. And then at the end of the month, you will obviously be expected to pay back that money. And obviously, because you're not using your money, you will be charged interest on the credit card. So do not fall into this trap when you are grown up, thinking that the credit card is the way to go. You must always remember that money that you are spending there, it is not your money. It is the bank's money. And at the end of the day, you will have to pay it back. And of course, with an added interest. Loans Loan alone, as per our agreement up to so far, it is the money that is given to someone for a period of time, and that money, it is not a gift. You have to pay it back, and when you pay it back with added interest. So we have different types of loans. We have personal loans, we've got a car loan, we've got a home loan. What else do we have? We can also have a student loan. So what are those? With a personal loan, that is the small amount of money that can be borrowed from the bank when one needs a cash. So you could be needing a cash for, maybe you want to renovate your house. Then you can go and take a personal loan and use that money to build a house. Maybe your car is broken, you want to fix your car, you don't have money, you can take a personal loan, get money, fix your car. But remember, because it is a loan, it means when you pay back the money, you are going to pay it back with added interest. And then a student loan, this is specifically meant for studies. So if you go to tertiary and parents cannot afford to pay for fees, and you also don't qualify for NSFAS, it means your parents can apply for a student loan. That loan will pay your fees, and then your parents will have to pay back the money with an added interest. But with a student loan, the interest that is charged there is normally reasonable. So it's way lesser than the personal loan because it's meant for a good cause. And then we have a home loan. With a home loan, the other word for a home loan is bond. The common name that is used, we'll hear your parents saying that I am paying a bond. When they talk about a bond, they are referring to a home loan. With this one, again, it is specifically meant for buying a home. So this is the loan that the bank gives you when the bank borrows you money so that you can purchase a home. And again, this one, when you pay it back, you pay it back with added interest. And what you need to know is that with a home loan, the period is normally very long, can be paid up within 15 years, 20 years, 25 years, 30 years, depending on the agreement between the buyer and the bank. And remember, interest is also added here. And what you need to know about the loans, all the loans, including the car loans, is that the longer the period, if you extend the time that you want to pay the loan, your installment will be lesser, but the interest will be very, very high. If you choose a short period, your installment is going to be higher, but when you do the final calculations to check the interest, you will realize that your interest is actually way lesser. So if you have an option, should you ever find yourself in a position whereby you need to take a loan, if possible, always opt for the shortest period. Yes, the installment will be higher, but at the end of the day, you will be able to beat the interest rate. When it comes to the home loan and deciding on how much one should be paying every month, we use what we call the factor, and there is also a formula that can be used. So this formula, it helps us determine the monthly repayments. You don't have to memorize this formula. If you have to use this formula in the exam, the examiner will provide you with this formula. So if you want to calculate the monthly repayments, this is the formula that we are using to say the monthly repayment. It is a loan amount. If you apply, the house was 1 million, then it means you took a loan of 1 million divided by 1,000 multiplied by the factor. What is a factor? It is a decimal value reflecting a proportion of the outstanding principal value of factor bonds, which changes over time, and it is strongly influenced by the interest rates and the period of the loan repayment period. Like I mentioned, that when you take a loan, the period, the time is very, very important. So where do we get the factor that I'm talking about? You will be provided with a table like this. These values here, inside here, these values here, these are your factors. These are your factors. On top here, these are the years. So these are the years. When you take a home loan, you can pay it over a period of 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, 20 years, 25 years, and 30 years. And remember, if you choose a shorter period, it means your installment will be more. If you choose a longer period, it means your installment will be smaller. But when you check the interest rates, a longer period will result in a higher interest rate, whereas a shorter period will result in a smaller interest that is paid back at the end of the period. And then this first column here, this one, it represents the interest rates. These are the interest rates there. Let us take an example here. If the loan is 950,000 at an interest rate of 11% per annum, and this is to be repaid over 20 years, calculate the monthly repayment. So this is the formula for the monthly repayment. Remember, I said that this formula will be given to you, so there's no need to memorize it. So I will say MR is monthly repayment. It's not master. Its monthly repayment equals to, what is the loan repayment? It is 950,000 divided by 1,000 times by the factor. What is the factor? You first ask yourself, what is our period? It is 20 years. So it means we are here at 20 years. And then what is the interest rate? It is 11%. Where is 11%? There is 11%. Then you will draw a line from 11% that takes you to 20 years. Then from 20 years, you draw a line that will touch 11%, meaning that our factor is what? Our factor is 10.32. Then you say this multiply by 10.32. And then you take out your calculator. Let us all punch this in our calculators. It is 950,000 divided by 1,000, and then we multiply that by 10.32. We want to know how much this person is going to be paying every month for that loan. So this person would be paying 9,804 per month. This would be the monthly installment of this loan. So this is how you use the factor table. Let's say maybe a person has borrowed 1.2 million, which is 200,000 rands for 30 years with an interest rate of 10%. If you want the monthly repayment, you will say, okay, monthly repayment, the loan amount, 1,200,000 rand divided by the loan factor is 1,000. We want the factor now. So I said for 30 years, this is the 30 years. And then what is the interest rate? It is 10%. 10% is here. Then that is where you draw the line. And then this is 30 years. So it means our factor is 8.78. Then we times by 8.78. Then let us punch this in the calculators again. It's 1,200,000. Divide that by 1,000 rands. And then multiply the answer by 8.78. Let's see, the installment is 10,536. So it means that this is the amount of money that this person will be paying every month for a period of what? For a period of 30 years. It is so easy working with the factor table. And remember, you do not have to memorize the formula. It will be provided to you. And also this table will also be given to you. You just have to know how to use it. Car loans, that one was a home loan. With car loans, you must know that car loans are also financed by the banks. So it is not the garage that lends you the money, but rather it is the bank. And the interest is charged on a car, the interest that is charged on a car loan, it is compounded monthly. Remember the compound interest that we did? Yes. Sometimes the car loans are negotiated based on the balloon payments. Remember, they will tell you that, okay, if you want this car, this will be your monthly installment for this period. And then you feel that, no, the monthly installment is too much. I won't be able to afford it. They can say, okay, we can reduce your monthly installment by introducing the balloon payment option. And with the balloon payment, it is a lump sum of money that you will have to pay at the end of the loan period. So in the meantime, you will pay a smaller installments, but you find that at the end of the loan period, there's 100,000 rand that you must pay as a lump sum. That lump sum, we call it a balloon payment. This method of payment reduces the monthly installment. Like I explained, most people that opt for a balloon payment, it is the people that are struggling with the monthly installment. The total cost for balloon payment, it is the price of the item plus interest plus the extra costs, which are included. It's actually the total cost of the loan. Let's not include the balloon. The total cost of the loan, if it's a balloon option, it will be the price of the car plus the interest that is charged plus the extra costs. Those extra costs will also include the balloon payment. Now, let's go to the activities. We've been having a lot of discussions on this matter of loans and investments. So, number one, Sbu wants to buy a minibus taxi from a Nissan dealership. The table below shows two different payment options that Sbu can choose from. Note, a balloon or a residual is the final payment made at the end of the loan. We've got two options, option 1 and option 2. So the specifications of the car, it is the same car. The cash price, since it is the same car, it is the same. If you're to buy the car on cash, you will pay 439,800. And the installment price per month, if you go for option 1, per month, your installment will be 5,699.90. But if you go for option 2, per month, you will pay an installment of 6,788.93. And you note that the amount, the monthly installments are not the same. Option 2's installment is way higher as compared to option 1's installment. And it is the same car, same price, even the term of the loan, it is the same. It is 72 months. And the cash deposit, you are expected to pay a deposit here. The deposit is 20%. So everything else is the same. However, the monthly installments are not the same. What could be the reason? This is the reason that option 1 has a balloon, or rather a residual payment, which is 30% of the cash price. What does that mean? It means with option 1, yes, you are paying a smaller amount every month, 5,699 for 72 months. But in month 73, you must pay 30% of the cash price. And the cash price is how much? It's 439,900. Let us see how much is 30% of that. You will say 30% multiplied by 439,800. We want to see how much that is. Let us all do it. 439,800 multiplied by 30%. It is 131,940. So this is the lump sum that you must be able to pay at the end of 72 months. That is why the installment for option 1 is cheaper as compared to the installment for option 2. Now, coming to the questions. Remember, we haven't answered any questions. Calculate the cash deposit. What is the cash deposit? It is 20% of the cash price. So how are we going to calculate that? 20% is the same as 20 over 100 multiplied by what? By 439,800. Let us punch this in our calculators, guys. It is 20% multiplied by 439,800 rands. And the answer that I'm getting there, it is 87,916. So this is the deposit that this person was expected to pay. I want to write it down because we might need it in the next questions. So that is the deposit that they must pay upfront before they can get the car. The next question, determine the balloon payment for option 1. Remember, we already calculated it, but we are going to do it again. This is option 1, and the balloon payment is what it is, 30% of the cash price. So you will say, okay, 30% is 30 over 100. What is the cash price? This is the cash price. Off means what? Off means multiply. Multiplied by 439,800 equals to 30% multiplied by 439,800. It is 131,940. Let me write it down also that the balloon payment was how much? It was 131,940, because I'm sure we might have to refer back to this in the upcoming questions. C, determine the total cost of the minibus taxi for option number 1, and you may use the formula. Total cost is the deposit. Remember, we already calculated the deposit. How much was the deposit? It was 87,000, which was 20% of this. It was 87,000. I wrote it down. 87,960 plus the installment. What was the installment? It is 5,699. 5,699 and 90 multiplied by the number of months, 72, close bracket, plus the balloon payment. We calculated balloon payment in the previous question. This was the balloon payment, remember, the 131,940. 131,940. And then let's punch in everything in the calculator. Remember, BODMAS, this 87,960 plus, open the brackets, 5,699 and 90. Multiply that by 72, close the bracket, plus 131,940. And the answer that I am getting this side, it is 630,292 and 80 cents. So this is the total price that he needs to pay if he goes for option 1. How much is the amount? It is 630,292 rands and 80 cents. And look at the original price of the car. The original price of the car was 439,800, but he ends up paying how much? 630,292. So here it is quite a lot. D, Sbu stated that he could save more than 50,000 rands if he chose option 2. Verify Sbu's statement using calculations. Remember, with option 1, how much did he pay for option 1? We said he paid 630,292 and 80 cents. Now we want the cost for option 2. And the total cost for option 2 is equals to the deposit. Remember, we calculated the deposit a long time ago. The deposit was 87,960 plus, what is the installment? It is 6,786, 88 and 93 cents times by the period. The period is how much? It is 72 months. Let's punch everything in the calculator. BODMAS 87,916 plus, guys, remember BODMAS, please, open brackets, 6,788,93 multiplied by 72, close brackets. The answer is 576,762 and 96 cents. What did Sbu say? He said that he could save more than 50,000 rands if he chose option 2. So this is how much he'll pay for option 2, and this is how much he paid for option 1. Obviously for option 1 he is paying more, but let's see how much could he save. He would save, you take the cost of option A because it's a lot, option 1, 630,292,80. You subtract the cost for option B, option 2, which is 576, 700, oh sorry about the comma, 762 and 96 cents. Let us punch this in the calculator. It is 630,292 and 80 cents minus 576,762 and 96 cents. So the answer there, it is 53,529 and 84 cents. So this is the money that he will save. Let us see. What was the claim? He stated that he could save more than 50,000, and he is currently saving 53,000. What do we say? We say therefore the statement was true. The statement is true. The next question, Solly and his wife Queen are about to buy their first house through Magic Bank. The property they are interested in costs 580,000 rand, 440. That is inclusive of the transfer costs and the lawyer fees. Solly and Queen managed to raise a deposit of 25%. Remember what is a deposit? It is an upfront payment of 25%. Magic Bank granted them a home loan at 10.75% interest for the balance of the loan over a period of 30 years. So where do we start? We start with the years. It is 30 years. You make an asterisk, and the interest rate, it is 10.75. This is 10.75, and then you draw a line that will join them. Where do they meet? They meet here, meaning 9.33 is their loan factor. We haven't answered any questions. We're still training, preparing for the upcoming questions. Do we understand the information that is given to us? Yes. Are we ready to now go and answer the questions? Absolutely. 2.1, explain the term home loan. When you talk about the home loan, it is the money that is borrowed from the bank with the purpose of buying a house. Money, borrowed from the bank to buy. It's not only to buy, sometimes it's to build, to buy or to build a home. I hope you got that one. Yeah, it's not just about buying. Someone can get a home loan, then they buy a stand and they build from scratch. How long will it take to pay back the bank if the bond repayment factor is 10.15 and the interest rate is 10.75? So if this, what is this? The interest rate it is 10.75 here, and the factor is 10.15. Where is 10.15? There is 10.15. How long will it take? It will take them what? What is the years? It is 20 years. So the correct answer there is 20 years. How long will they take to pay back the bank if the bond repayment factor is 10.15 and the interest rate 10.17? We already answered this and we agreed that the number of years would be 20 years. Calculate the amount that Magic Bank loaned to Solly and Queen. Remember, they took a loan of they needed a loan of 580,440, and then but they had to raise a deposit of 25%. So after getting the 25%, how much money did they take from the bank? So I'm going to give you guys just 1 minute to do this one. Once you are done, we will then compare our solutions. I will be giving you the answers, then you can mark yourselves just to see whether you are on the right track or not. 1 minute, I'll be back. Welcome back. Let's see if you got this one. I hope you got it right. So we want the amount that the bank loaned to this couple. Remember, they initially needed a loan of this amount, but they raised a deposit of 25%. So we need to know what was the deposit amount that they raised. So where do we start? We'll start by saying 580,414. We times that by 25%. Is it okay if I say 25 over 100? I hope it's not a problem. Then we take out our calculators. We say 580,414. We multiply that by 25%. Multiply that by 25%. We've got 145,110 rands. So what is this? This is the deposit that they were able to raise. So it means they did not take this entire amount from the bank. They paid this one from their pocket. So how much money did they take from the bank? They borrowed 580,440 minus 145,110. Let us punch this in our calculators to say 580,440 minus the 145,110 deposit. I am getting 435 rands. So I'm sorry, 435, 330 rands. So that is the money, that is the loan that they took from the bank. I hope you got it right. Calculate the monthly repayment amount that Brasoli must pay on the loaned amount. Before we can calculate that, remember, Brasoli is taking the loan for how long? For 30 years. Then you go to your table, you circle 13 years. And what is the interest rate? 10.75. Where is the interest rate? 10.75. When you draw a line, where do they meet? 10.75 and the 30 years, they meet here. It means the loan factor is 9.33. So if you want the monthly repayment, we will then say the loan amount. Remember, we calculated the loan amount in the previous slide. How much was it? This was the loan amount, the 435,330. This is our loan amount. So when we see the loan amount, we will write 435,330, and then we divide that by 1,000 times, what is our factor? 9.33 equals to, let's now punch this in our calculators. We'll say 435,330 divided by 1,000 equals to, multiplied by 9.33. When you times by 9.33, I am getting 4,061.6289. But remember, this is money, so we want it to be 2 decimal places. Therefore, it is 4,061. How do you round this to 2 decimal places? It becomes 63 cents. So this would be his monthly installment. Calculate the total amount and the interest that they would have paid at the end of the loan term if the monthly repayment was 4,061.63 cents. So the monthly repayment would be 4,061.63 cents. Remember, they are paying this for a period of how long? Of 30 years. But what was the instruction? They saying they're paying this amount monthly. So we can't multiply by 30 years, but rather we need to convert this 30 years into months. How do you convert 30 years into months? You will say 30 years, then you times by 12. We say 30 multiplied by 12, it is 360 months. Now we'll take the monthly amount, the 4,061.63 multiplied by 360 months. Let us punch in our calculators. It is 4,061.63 cents multiplied by 360 months. The answer that I'm getting, it is 1,462,186 rands and 80 cents. So this would be the total amount, including the interest that they would have paid back at the end of the loan term, if this was their monthly installment. So do you see how it works? Remember the loan that they took. The loan that they took was how much? It was 435,000. This is the money that they borrowed from the bank. But when they pay it back, they pay it back as 1,462,186 and 18 cents. So they are paying almost 1 million extra. Like the profit is 1 million. But unfortunately, this is the game. This is how the home loans work. The period is very long, 20, 30 years. But the interest, when you calculate the interest, that's when you see that I could have bought 3 houses with this money that I'm paying back, including the interest. Number 3, a revolving credit loan taken out from Woolworths Financial Services is shown. Note, a revolving credit plan is a loan where a person can reuse all or part of the money that has been paid back towards the loan without applying for it again. So they give you the money, you use it, and then you make a payment, and next month they load another money again. So you don't even have to pay to apply for the loan. The loan is always there. Whenever you need it, you take it. Whenever you need it, you just take it. 3.1, identify the borrower of the revolving credit loan. Before we go there, before we answer the questions, actually, we were supposed to go through our statement. So this is the statement for Susan Fisher that lives in Kimberley. And the statement date, it is the 14th of January 2017. The payment due date, so she must make a payment by the 8th of February. And then this is the account number. And then the installment frequency. So it means the installment is every month on a monthly basis. Since it's on a monthly basis, it means in a year, there will be how many statements? 12 statements, or rather, they would have made 12 installments. So the transaction dates, there is a debit order payment of 443,027, and it's written CR. CR means it was a credit. It means she was making a payment. And then at the bottom then there is outstanding loan balance. So the outstanding loan balance, it is 10,451 and 63. And the loan amount that is available that this person can still use, it is 548 and 37 cents. So the next installment that she must pay 446 rand and 27 cents, no longer 443. So this is the loan. There's actually different loans. See, there was a loan on the 9th of October. There was a loan on the 29th of April the following year. There was a loan on the 10th of October. Remember, it's revolving. She can always take the money. The money is always there. Whenever she needs it, she just takes it. So identify the borrower. Who's the borrower? This statement is for who? Is for Susan, meaning that Susan is the borrower. So you write, we say that it is Susan Fisher. 3.2, write down the loan amount available on this statement. I think we saw this somewhere. The loan amount, it was there at the bottom. The loan amount available, it is 548 rands and 37 cents. This is the loan amount that is available. 3.3, write down the number of statements the borrower will receive in 1 year. Remember, the statements, this person gets the statements every month. So 1 year is equivalent to how many months? 1 year is equivalent to 12 months. Meaning that the number of statements that this person will receive, they will receive 12 statements, one every month. 12 statements for the year. I hope you are still following. 3.4, explain the term debit order. Remember what I said at the beginning? I said a debit order is when the client instructs the bank to allow a third party to deduct money from a bank account. Let's say I took an iPhone from MTN using contract, meaning that every month I must pay MTN. So I need to give permission to my bank to allow MTN to take out their money from my bank account every month. So that is what we mean by the word debit order. So let's say when a client gives the bank, or actually gives the service provider permission to deduct money from their bank account. From their bank account. Calculate the number of days from the statement date to the payment due date. So the statement date, it is the 14th of January. So let's see, from the 14th of January to the 31st of January, how many days are there? Remember, the 14th, it is also a date. That is when the statement was issued, so you include it. So this, the number of days, it is the 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31. Meaning that this is 18 days. And then with February, it's from the 1st of Feb up to the 8th of February. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It is 8 days. So the total days, 18 plus 8 is how much? It is 26 days. That is the number of days from the statement due date, from the statement date to the payment due date. So this is the payment due date. This is the statement date. 3.6, calculate the closing balance A of the loan that was taken on the 29th of April 2016. Remember, there are different loans. This one was taken on the 9th of October. This one was taken on the 29th of, yes, this is the one that we are looking for. You see, that is the same. So we are here. What do we want? The value of A. What is A? It is the closing balance. The closing balance. What is happening here? The opening balance here is how much? Is 6,859. And then they charged interest. They charged interest. So we'll say, okay, 6,859 and 99, because they charged the interest. We'll say plus 144 and 4 cents of the interest. But there was a payment of how much? Of 221 and 89 cents, and it's a minus, meaning that we must lessen the loan by 221 and 89 cents. That is the value of A. Let us calculate the value of A. Use your calculators. It is 6,859 and 99 cents plus 144 and 4 cents minus 221 and 89 cents, and the answer that I'm getting, it is 6,782 and 14 cents. That is the value of A, which is the closing balance. Number 4, Jordan wants to take out a personal loan of 35,000 rands. He found the following information. The monthly service fee, which is part of the repayment, is 69 rands, and the initial fee is 1,207 and 50 cents. The interest rate is 27.5%. So that is a personal loan. So the repayment period in months, this person has an option of paying in 24 months, 36 months, 48 months, 60 months, or 72 months. Why would you choose a longer period? It is because the installment is lesser, but the loan is dragging. And then if you're choosing a shorter period, the installment is more, but there you will see, let's test it. Let's say 24 times this installment, and let's see how much you will have payback after 24 months. So 24 multiplied by 2,173 and 89, I am getting 52,173 and 36. This is how much you would have paid in 24 months. Let us check this one for 60 months. You say 16 multiplied by 1,312 and 18, you would have paid 78,730, and 80 cents. Let us do this one, this last one, to say 72 times 1,227 and 32 cents. The installment is very little, but you would have paid back 88,367 and 4 cents. That time you only took out the loan of 35%. So the longer period, it looks like it's better, but when you check the interest, the longer period it means more interest. The debt will actually be more as compared to taking a shorter period. 4.1, remember we're not answering any questions then. We were analyzing the information that is given to us. 4.1, explain the meaning of interest rate. When you talk about interest, it is the extra money that is added or that is charged when you borrow money, or the extra money that is earned when the money has been invested. But now in this case, there is the word rate, and then rate means what? Rate means percentage. Rate means percentage. So when you explain interest rate, it is still interest, but now there is an percentage. So instead of saying the extra amount, you will now say the extra percentage. Let me write it down for you. Extra percentage amount. The keyword is percentage added on the money borrowed, or sorry, added on the money borrowed, okay, or let me not say added, it's confusing. Let me say charged, or earned on the money invested. That is interest rate, the extra percentage amount charged on the money that has been borrowed, or the earned on the money that has been invested. And the examiner can also ask you to differentiate between interest amount and the interest rate. 4.2, how much is the monthly service fee? They gave it to us on the information that the monthly service fee, which is part of the repayment, is 69 rands. So the answer there is 69 rands, and it's only for 2 marks. 4.3, how much more will Jordan repay per month if he repays the loan in 24 months rather than in 48 months? So let's check. In 24 months, how much would he have paid? In 24 months, what is the installment? The installment is 2,173 and 89. And then in 48 months, what is the installment? It is 1,447 and 13 cents. What is the question? How much more will Jordan repay per month? Okay, if he chooses 24 rather than 48. So the difference is we want more. When we want more, we actually want the difference. Then you will say 2,173 and 89. Then we subtract 1,447 and 30 cents. Let us all punch this in our calculators. It is 2,173 and 89 cents minus 1,447 and 30 cents. And the answer that I'm getting there, it is 726 rand and 59 cents. That is the answer that I am getting. It means this is how much more Jordan will repay per month if he repays in 24 months rather than in 48 months. But we know by now that if he chooses 48 months, the interest rate will actually be cheaper. For now, it looks like the 48 months is more expensive But if you do the calculations, you will see that which one is actually way cheaper than the other one. And then 4.4, calculate the number of years it will take Jordan to repay a loan if his monthly installment is 1,312.18 per month. What are they saying here? Calculate the number of years it will take Jordan to repay the loan. So the monthly installment is 1,312. How many months is that? This is 16 months. So it means here they say number of years. They want us to convert this 60 months to years. And how do we do that? How do you convert from years to months? From years to months, we multiply by 12. Now it's the reverse. From months to years, we will divide. Then we divide by how much? By 12. Then let's get the answer. We will say 16 divided by 12. I am getting an answer of 5. So the answer is 5 years. That is the number of years it will take to pay 1,312.18. Number 5, Mapucho contributes a regular monthly amount from her salary towards a retirement annuity. This amount is deducted from her salary through a stop order on the 15th day of each month. There is a difference between a stop order and a debit order. A debit order, the money is deducted from your bank account. A stop order, the money is deducted from your pay slip. That is the difference. So with a debit order, you are able to query it and reverse it and take your money back. But with a stop order, once the money has been taken out, it is out, it's gone, it's gone. You cannot query it. So that is the difference. With a stop order, you give permission for the money to be deducted from your pay slip. With a debit order, you give permission for the money to be deducted from your bank statement. So that is the difference. The other one focuses on your bank statement. The other one focuses on your pay slip. Below is a summary of the statement of her retirement annuity as of the 10th of May 2017. So this statement is the 10th of his was on the 10th of May 2017. So we've got the policy number. The maturity date is 1 November 2019. What is the maturity date? That is the date whereby she will have access to the retirement money. Her retirement money will be released. Then she can enjoy it. What is the monthly contribution? She is paying 740.22 cents every month. Payment frequency, she pays every single month. And the current death value, this means that if should anything happen to her, should she die, then this policy will pay out 139,817.05 cents. And the retirement value, this is when the inflation rate will be lower. When she reaches that retirement in 2029, she will receive 536,523 rand and 25 cents. If she retires and the inflation rate is higher, she will then receive 940,465 and 89 cents. Let's go to the questions. Define the concept stop order. Remember, I said with the stop order, it is a deduction that takes place in your pay slip. I'm just going to put it like that. Deduction of money by a third party. A third party could be a company. By a third party from a pay slip. That's it for 2 marks, so you must know your definitions, please. 5.2, calculate the difference between the two retirement values. We've got the first retirement value and the second retirement value. What is the meaning of difference? Difference means subtract. And normally we say a bigger value, 940,465 and 89 cents minus 536,523 and 25 cents. Then we take out our calculators, your best friend. You say 940,465 and 89 cents. We minus 536,523 and 25 cents. And the answer that I'm getting there, it is 403,942 rand and 64 cents. So this is the difference between the two retirement values. Difference means what? Subtract. Determine the number of monthly contributions that still needs to be paid by Mabojo before the policy matures. Remember, the month that she still has to pay, right now she's currently where? At month number, when she got the statement, it was what? Which month was it? I want the original question. It was May 2017. And when is it going to mature? In November 2019. So we want the number of months from May 2017 up to November 2029. So let's go to our question and see. So we will say, okay, from 2029, this one, to 2017. Remember, it was May 2017. I want the number of years there. So we'll say 2029. 2029 is the maturity value. Minus 2017. I have 12 years. But the question wants months, right? So 12 years times it by 12 because we want the number of months. It is 144 months. And then from May to November, how many months are there? From May to November, it's May, it's June, July, August, September, October, November. It is 6 months. So the total number of months, it is 144 plus 6, which is 150 months. This is the total number of months that Mabojo has before the policy matures. So she's still going to pay for 150 more months before she can get her lump sum. 5.4, determine the total value of the contributions over 5 years if her monthly contribution remains the same. Remember, she pays per month. So it means we first need to convert this 5 years to months. So you say 5 years, when you convert it to months, you multiply by 12. I punch in your calculator, guys. No one will judge you. 12 multiplied by 5, you're allowed to use your calculators. It is 60 months. And then what is the monthly installment? 740. 740 rands and 22 cents multiplied by 60 months. The answer, 60 months multiplied by 740 rand and 22 cents. The answer that I'm getting here, it is 44,413 and 20 cents. So what was this? The total value of the contributions over 5 years. So over 5 years, she would have contributed 44,413 and 20 cents. I do hope that you guys are following through, because these are the possible questions you will come across in this section of banking, investments, and loans. Now you have to fill in the missing word or words to make the following statement true, for it to be true. An annual increase in the monthly contribution. So if we increase the monthly contribution, what will this do to the maturity value? What will this do to the maturity value? Well, if the monthly contribution increase, will the maturity value also increase, or will it decrease? Remember, the maturity value is what we get at the end of the period. So if we increase this, obviously the maturity value will also increase. It's a simple math. You increase one, it also increases the next one. So this will result in a higher maturity value, or it will result in an increase in the maturity value. So anything, as long as it is higher. If you increase your premium, your maturity value will also increase. 5.6, show that if her monthly contribution increased by 8.5%, then the new monthly deduction from her salary would be 803 Rand and 14 cents. What is her current monthly contribution? It is 740 Rand. So what must we do? We must increase it by 8.5%. After increasing it, we find the increase, then we add the increase to the original amount. Then it will give us the new amount. So let's find the increase. For the increase, we'll take the 740 Rand and 22 cents, times it by the percentage increase, which is 8.5%. Can I say 8.5 over 100? This is equals to, we say 740 and 22, multiply that by, no, sorry, not 8.5% divided by 100. And I am getting 62 Rand, 9187. What is this? This is the increase. Did we answer the question? No, they did not just want the increase, they want the new monthly deduction. So since this has increased by this amount, to get the new deduction, the new monthly deduction, we will then take the original, which is 740 Rand and 22, plus the increase. The increase is 62.9187. I'm including all the decimals. I will only round off at the final answer. Plus 740 Rand and 22 cents. I am getting 803 Rand, 1387. And then let us round this to 2 decimal places. This 803 and 14 cents. And this is this amount. They say that we must show, and we've done exactly that. The amount is 803 and 14 cents. This is how you show that the value that they want. They actually want you to show how they determined that the value, that value that they gave to you. Number 6, this one is a car loan. The following advertisement appeared in a local newspaper. Hlelo was very interested since the car advertised was her dream car. So apparently this was a deal not to be missed. This is a 2018 Toyota Yaris. It is low kilometers, so it means it has traveled a very short distance. And then if you buy this car on credit, you will pay 2,700 Rand times 60 for 60 months. And the retail price, if you buy it cash, you will pay 159 Rand 999. 90. Hlelo must pay a deposit of 24,000. So if you're going to buy it on credit, you are expected to pay an upfront deposit of 24,000. The bank charges an interest rate of 7.4 compounded monthly. Hlelo must pay a monthly installment of 2,700 for 60 months. We already saw that there. So 6.1, determine the loan amount. What is the loan amount? The money that the bank will borrow Hlelo. Remember the price of the car? It is 159,990, but she must pay the deposit, and the deposit comes from her. So the bank is not giving her the deposit. So to get the loan amount, you subtract the deposit. And then we'd say 159,990 minus, what is the deposit? 24,000. Minus a deposit of 24,000 rands. And then let's punch this in our calculators. We say 159,990 minus 24,000 rands. And then we are getting 135,990. So this is the loan amount that Hlelo must take from the bank. I also want to write it down, the loan amount, in case we need it somewhere. I don't know, but in case we need it, so that I don't have to slide back. We said the loan amount is 135,990, just to save time, that we don't have to drive back. 6.2, calculate how much Hlelo will pay back after 60 months, excluding the interest. So after 60 months, Hlelo would have paid back, what is the monthly installment? It is 2,700 multiplied by 60 months. So this is going to be, I think it was supposed to be excluding the deposit, because this amount already is inclusive of the interest. So this is 2,700 multiplied by 60 months. I am getting 162,000 rands. So this is the total amount that Hlelo will pay back, excluding what, the 24,000 deposit. Determine how the amount for the balance brought forward was calculated. Okay, so before we can answer that question, this was the statement for the first month, I think, for Hlelo. And then the balance brought forward at the beginning of this statement, it was 162,000. Remember, balance brought forward is the same as the opening balance. This is the opening balance. It was 162,000. And then she made, remember, her monthly installment, it is 2,700 rands. Then she was owing 159,300. And then there was an interest charged. Because the interest is charged, it will be added on the 159. Hence, you see here that now the amount has increased to 260,282. Now, let us see what's happening here. Determine how the amount for the balance brought forward was calculated. This 162,000, how was it calculated? It is the monthly installment multiplied by the number of months. The 2,700 multiplied by 60 months is equals to, punch in your calculators there, I'm getting 162,000 rand. So that is how the opening balance was determined. Right? 6.4, we must verify, showing all calculations, how the interest amount of 982 was calculated. Remember, this is the money that Hlelo borrowed, and then she paid 2,700, and then the amount was, the balance now was 159,300. What is the interest rate? It is 7.4%, but the 7.4%, it is monthly. So we'll take the 159,000. This is the loan now, the new loan. 159,300, and then we multiply it by 7.4 over 100, because it is monthly. Okay, let me start by doing this first. To say 159,300 multiplied by 7.4%. This is the interest of how much? This is 117,000. No, sorry, it's 11,788 and 20 cents. But remember, this is the interest per year, but the interest is actually calculated monthly. So we are going to take this amount and divide it by 12 so that we can get the monthly interest, because the statement did with car loans, the interest is charged on a monthly basis. So divide that by 12. The answer is 982 rand and 35 cents. So that is how this value was calculated. Remember, with car loans, the interest is compound interest. And how often? Monthly, on a monthly basis. 6.5. What percentage of the retail price does Lelo pay as a deposit? Remember, what was the retail price? It was 159,900, and she had to pay a deposit of how much? Of 24,000. So they want a percentage. The moment the question says what percentage, then you must know that you have to say multiply by 100. That's a keyword. When it says what percentage, what is the percentage? You know that I must times by 100. So she paid a deposit of how much? Of 24,000 over the retail price of how much? Of 159,990. So let us punch this in our calculators to say 24,000 divided by 159,990, and then we times that by 100. Guys, you are allowed to use your calculator. The answer is 15.00%, which I will say is just 15%. And girls and boys, this brings us to the end of our session. Unfortunately, we are left with just a few seconds before we can end our question. But luckily, we are actually done with all our activities. I just want to take you through a quick homework, hoping that you will go and try it at home. The nice part about this homework, it's about banking. As much as it's about banking, it is a repetition of what you did in the tariffs, the banking tariffs. So here they say Mr. Williams has an ABSA private banking account. The table below shows the bank service fees for an ABSA private banking account. Use the information in the table to answer the questions that follow. So this is the list of transactions that if he makes a local ATM cash withdrawal, they are not charging him any bank fees. If he withdraws the cash at a branch, then this is the formula that they will use to charge him, to say 75 rands plus 2 rand 50 per 100 rand or part thereof. This part thereof, it means for every 100 rand, even if he was just taking out 750, this 50 rand, it will be counted as a 100, meaning they will charge him for how many 100 rands? 800 rands. That is the meaning of part thereof. So make sure that you understand this table. From here on, you should be able to answer the questions. Thank you so much for joining us today. I hope you enjoyed the lesson, but most importantly, I hope you had fun, because in this lesson, we spoke about the terminologies that are involved in the section of banking, loans, and investment. So today, you know what the different types of loans, you know what an investment is, you know the difference between a loan and an investment. We also worked with the different loans and the different banking options. So do join us for our next lesson that is taking place on the 27th of August from 2:30 until 4 o'clock. And the section that we'll be focusing on, we will be revising data handling with a specific focus on summarizing data. Remember, the message is still clear. We are preparing towards our prelim exams. Thank you so much. See you next time.